Hello, welcome back. Welcome to Let's Talk Sports with Rick Manarino. Yes, Let's Talk Sports with Rick Manarino. I haven't done this show in a while. It's, as you all know, with it, follow my other shows, Let's Talk NFL, which was such a great season, and now I'm well entrenched to Let's Talk NBA, and there's a lot to talk about on those shows, so I leave them unto themselves. My NFL show is by itself and my NBA show, but I think we have enough going on now around the world of Let's Talk Sports, where I can do a lot of interesting things and give a lot of comment and explain why I feel the way I feel. But the three areas that I really want to hit today and that I'm going to spend some time with are, of course, MLB and what's going on there, Major League Baseball. March Madness. We all know March Madness. We spend lots of hours watching it. Starts today. Games have already started today, and we probably are going to have some upsets. 11 seeds win a lot of games, 10 seeds win a lot of games. That's kind of funny. So we're going to talk a little bit about the tournament, and we'll talk more and more about it each week, and then the championship. So we're going to talk about that, and then we're going to spend some time on the NFL free agency, which is in full swing. And, of course, we'll, like you all probably want me to do, we'll start with the most apparent thing that happened over the last week. Tom Brady comes out of retirement. Now, I wonder how that all transpired. Was he sitting at home for 2 months saying, I'm not going out until I win another Super Bowl. Family, I love you. I know I said that I told everybody that I wanted to spend more time with family, and my wife and kids helped me decide that it was time to retire. Well, Tom didn't look like he was ready to retire. I've seen other quarterbacks a lot longer than him in the NFL this year, a lot older than him, a lot longer in the tooth than him, that look like they should retire. Several of those, guys like Kirk Cousins, who goes out in Minnesota and gets another big contract, whatever he's making, $31 million or something like that. Don't quote me on it, but Kirk Cousins gets another year in Minnesota. Good average quarterback, can't win the big game. So Tom Brady is back, which changes the whole dynamic of the NFL. I can't wait till August and I start doing my NFL show again. By then I'm going to have another co-host because, I'm between co-hosts right now. I really like doing the show with another opinion. I don't like to be the only face you're looking at up here because, I ain't that pretty. So, I want to get another co-host. I don't know. Again, if anybody wants to be my co-host on this show, have at it. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of hard work, but we make it work. So I am looking for a great co-host. And again, I know that I know what I'm talking about, and I know the sports world very well. But I want somebody else's opinion. I just don't want mine. And again, I'm not that pretty to look at. So maybe we'll incorporate a female as my co-host going forward. But we'll talk about the NFL first, since we're talking about Brady. I mean, it's a lot of transition. People are still looking, for quarterbacks. What's going to happen with the situation in Houston? Is there going to be penalties coming down and all this stuff? So I don't know, but we do know that Russell Wilson, we knew he wasn't happy in Seattle. You could tell he wasn't happy last year. I don't think he was happy the year before. They make that mega trade, get a lot of draft choices. Seattle is rebuilding. I mean, they let Russell go after all those years and all those great games to Denver. Is it going to make Denver a Super Bowl contender? I don't know. I don't think Russell is as good as he used to be. He may prove me wrong. Please prove me wrong, Russell. But I think people understand your game and your flow nowadays, and when you're going to pass and when you're going to run, and the fact that you're not as fast as you used to be. I don't know if he's going to be if he's going to have enough in that very tough conference. You got to understand, Denver's in there with the LA Chargers, who are going to continue to improve, and they've picked up some players, and the Chargers are going to continue to improve. Once they get a little better on defense, watch out. The Raiders are going to continue to improve. They picked up a great edge rusher this week. The Raiders are definitely, they picked up the guy Chandler from Arizona. That's really, really going to help them on the defensive end side. He's a Pro Bowl guy. You got to look at Kansas City, who was very disappointed in what happened to them last year. They're used to winning. That group over there, led by Mahomes and Kelsey, those are serious guys. So it's a very tough conference. Seattle, again, they look like they're trying to just get rid of everybody. I mean, if you look at them and you say, what's going on with them in a very tough West that they play in with the Rams and Arizona and in the 49ers, that's another very big, tough conference. But Seattle got rid of their best defensive player, Bobby Wagner. Bobby Wagner's gone. I mean, really the heart of Seattle, Bobby Wagner. Bobby Wagner is gone. I don't know where he's going to resign, but he'll have no problem. Russell Wilson is gone. Pete Carroll is going to be 72 years old. Not that age matters, but it's hard to relate to 21-year-old kids, 20-year-old kids in that environment, in that pressure environment, day to day. I'm sure it's fine being friends and all that kind of stuff. But now Pete's getting up there in years. He's going to have a bunch of rookies, a bunch of draft choices. I don't know what's going to happen with Seattle, and again, in a conference where the Rams won it. I mean, they play in a very tough division within that West Conference. As you all know, it's the toughest in football, in my opinion. Followed by the West in the Eastern Conference, so the AFC. So AFC, NFC, I don't know. I mean, Tom Brady throwing his hat back in the ring. We all know what he's thinking. He wasn't satisfied with the way the season ended. He wants to come back in and and I don't blame him. He wants to do a Peyton Manning. He wants to do a John Elway type of thing. He's going to come back and try to win the Super Bowl, and I really believe that he's going to rally that Tampa Bay team this year. And they don't play in a tough conference. I mean, you got a struggling New Orleans organization there, and Carolina. What do they got? I mean, what do they really have? So, I mean, that's really a weak conference. But most of the conferences in the NFL are pretty weak, to be honest with you. Again, the AFC West and the NFC West are the two best conferences in football. And we're fortunate because they're on the West Coast and we get to watch them. So, man, I mean, those are two loaded conferences. But, the Vegas Raiders, they're going to be improved. New coach. We're going to see how Josh McDaniels does. I mean, Rich Pisacci did a great job for the Raiders. And, again, that's something that has happened. And as you can see how much I like to talk of NFL, that's why we have our NFL show. But it's a lot of free agency, a lot of movement, teams getting rid of players. The Dallas Cowboys will continue to be the Dallas Cowboys, find a way to lose, find a way to be not successful. Probably the biggest change they have to make is their owner. He seems to be the problem to me. They should have never brought McCarthy back for another year. Big mistake. He'll be gone at the end of this year. Dallas will not go to the Super Bowl. I'm sorry, Dallas fans. I know there are a lot of them out there. I know a lot of them in Las Vegas. A lot of Dallas fans. And, they had a good year. But, you get to the playoffs and it's the El Foldo. Great quarterback. Great, players on that team. Good receivers. Really good defense last year until it counted. But Dallas just didn't do it. So, it's so interesting. Free agency is going to continue to change. There's some people that have to sign. There's going to be some trades in the NFL. Everybody's looking for a quarterback. And, of course, we have the NFL draft coming up in April, at the end of April here in Las Vegas. It's going to be the most glamorous, exciting, beautiful NFL draft you've ever seen. Vegas does it bigger than anybody, as you know, by far bigger than anybody. All of you want to come out for the NFL draft, let me know. You can come into the studio. We'll do a show, talk about players, who's going to draft first, who's going to get the first pick, who's going to do this, who's going to do that, what's going to be traded. Is the first pick going to get traded? What's going to happen? NFL draft is going to be fun here in Vegas. This is where my studio is. You want to come in? You want to come to the studio? We'll do a whole group of people. We'll put together a whole show. You're welcome. Again, everybody's welcome at this studio. I talk sports. That's what I do well. Don't come here for politics. That's another show over here. That's not me. Anyways, on to the next. NCAA, March Madness, wide open. How many different teams did we have as number one this year? We've had many. Gonzaga has, gotten back to the top. Arizona's right there. Baylor's right there. Kansas is right there. And you have a lot of fringe teams that are going to step up. I think UCLA didn't have a great year. After that great run last year, and of course losing in the semifinal game on a half-court shot, I think UCLA is going to get it together again and do very well in this tournament. I just think that they're bred and their coach leads and builds to the tournament. I think a team like a USC, Southern California Trojans, I believe they're not very good. They've been hovering all year in the top 25, up, down, all over. I believe Miami's going to beat them. A 10. SC's a 7. Miami's a 10. That might be something for you to watch for tomorrow. You'll have this show by tomorrow. If I was giving out any game, and I grew up a USC, particularly football fan. So I am a lover of USC, but betting is betting. I think Miami will beat them. Personal opinion, if you want to put a couple of coins on it, that's up to you. Teams like Villanova, they find a way to get it up. They find a way to, get better. Kentucky, how good are they? How good aren't they? Duke, it's the last hurrah. It's the last hurrah for Krzyzewski. What's Duke going to do? I don't think Duke's that good. They got a couple of players. That Baccaro is really a good player for Duke. I don't think Duke has enough. I don't think Kentucky has enough. A lot of people think it's going to be Kentucky. I really think that the final two teams, and that's what I'll talk about. I think it's going to be Arizona and Kansas, with Kansas winning it. I think Kansas is the team this year. A lot of people, it's all over the board. A lot of people like Gonzaga to finish it this year. Last year they were undefeated and of course got really beat up by Baylor in that championship game. What a poor championship game. But that was very predictable. Baylor was too athletic for them last year. So does Gonzaga. Is it the year? Is it the year for Arizona? They got a real good team. If you haven't watched Arizona, they are big in the middle. Excuse me. They control those boards. Arizona, and they like to run. Watch Arizona. I think they'll continue to do well in this tournament. I think UCLA will do well in this tournament. Baylor, I don't think Baylor has enough. Again, I think that they get beat on the boards a lot. I think they're still on the high from winning it last year. But in the end, to me, the best team I've watched, the most disciplined team. Bill Self is a great coach over there at Kansas. Great coach, great coach. I think Kansas is going to win it. But, I think the top 4 in the end are in the semifinal will be Kansas, will be Gonzaga, will be Arizona. And it may be Baylor or somebody surprising, Texas Tech. I don't know who it's going to be. Somebody will step up and be different. It may be UCLA again. Again, teams like USC that I've watched all year, they're okay. There's a lot of talent. Teams like Oklahoma didn't even make it this year, usually teams that are there. Notre Dame, double overtime last night, gets in. They've got a tough game against Alabama. Alabama's a good team. Don't be surprised. Again, a well-coached team. Don't be surprised if Alabama is in your final 8. They're going to make the final 16. Don't be surprised. At the end of the year, I don't know what's happened to Auburn. I am not that close to that program, but I don't know. I mean, Auburn went to the top this year and was number 1 and winning every week. And at the end of the season, they fell apart. So I don't think a lot of people are looking at Auburn right now. I believe they're very well coached. Auburn may be the team. So I gave you a bunch of teams that I like. I really haven't seen, anybody coming out of the East that looks that great to me. Again, Kentucky, Duke, they can do it. Auburn can do it. Alabama can do it. These teams, because of the season, it's a very rare year. When we get through this first round and we get to the 16, you're going to see a lot of great games because, these first few games, there's some dominant teams. And there's some average teams in this tournament. I believe that Arizona, Kansas are the real deal out of that whole group. But it would not be surprising. It would not be surprising at all to me if both of those teams get beat. It wouldn't be surprising to me if any team gets beat. And these top teams, most of them are going to get to the 16. That's when it really gets serious. The first couple rounds, 64-32. Then when we get to 16, after this weekend, we're going to see how it really shakes out. But I'll have a lot more to talk about next week about the tournament, and we'll be able to really zero in on games. We'll have 16 teams left after this weekend. So we'll really be able to zero in on what we're going to do. And I'll give out some great picks. And I think the number 1 game I'd give, I would bet all the big teams, the top teams that I mentioned, because they're going to win by big numbers, and you'll make money on it. You might do a parlay on those top teams that I mentioned. But I think it's really not an upset, but I think Miami's going to beat USC. That's something telling me that's going to happen. I hope I'm wrong, but we'll see what happens. And now we'll finish up with Major League Baseball. As we know, the strike is over. We're going to play 162 games. as if we need 162 games in Major League Baseball. And now we have a universal DH, so that's going to change everything. But again, the dynamic of the MLB is that the Dodgers try to win it every year with cash and players, and they won it one time in the last 4 or 5 years when everybody thought they were going to win it, and the Dodgers were predicted as the World Series champion. They're predicted again this year. Oh, and they got Freddie Freeman. Now that's a story. Freddie Freeman leads his team to the World Series. With that team, loyal. Atlanta Braves for life. I'm a Brave. I'm a Brave. I'm an Atlanta Brave. Braves didn't give him what he wanted. The Dodgers did. Oh, my God, the Dodgers paying out that kind of money. I mean, what are we talking about? Paying out that kind of money for a guy at the age he is. What is he, 31, 32 now? What kind of money is that paying out? And it's like, you talk about paying out money. Let me regress for a second. Von Miller, Denver, average career at the end. He's an average player at this point in his life. He is not a game breaker and a difference maker. Season's over, great year with the Rams. They bring him in, they make him a star. He gets a Super Bowl ring. What does he do? Does he repay him back and stay? No. He takes a 6-year offer. I think, what is it, 106, whatever it is. It's crazy money. 6 years to an old veteran like that who's beat up and hurt every year. They pay him that kind of money to go to Buffalo. What, again, no loyalty. But these contracts are putting out. Freddie Freeman doesn't deserve that kind of money. And the Angels found out that Pujols didn't deserve that kind of money at the end of his career to pay him what they did, one of the highest contracts ever. Same thing with Alex Rodriguez. Paid him all that money. Those guys didn't earn that money. Freddie Freeman is not going to see the end of that contract. 6 years? Von Miller, 6 years? Get out of here, man. I mean, in the loyalty of people on the other side of the coin, the Braves should have paid him for what he had done. But what do the Braves do? They're smart enough. They go make a big deal with Oakland, and they get a first baseman they want who's a fine player, who's probably better than Freddie Freeman. So the Braves aren't hurting. They're just fine. They're going to be okay. The Dodgers, all loaded up. I mean, come on. I think the Dodgers are going to – they didn't play that well last year, and then they made the playoffs because the Giants played so well, and ended up being division winners. But the Giants, of course, faltered. Then you got guys like Chris Bryant, who the Giants were nice to him and tried to re-sign him, but, he's floated off and he's going to go play elsewhere. So, Major League Baseball, it's, you know what, I don't even have a show for Major League Baseball. I talk about it a little bit. I just think the season is too long. There's too many really poor teams in Major League Baseball. I always watch it. This being said, I watch it every night. I'll watch one or two games every night in addition to all the NBA I'm watching. But I'll start watching baseball. We're on time for, a start of a season. We're going to have 162 games. But, what's it about? The Dodgers trying to buy it again. The Mets have really loaded up. The Mets are going to have something to say about it this year. The Mets have gone out and gotten ball players. They got a really unbelievable rotation. They picked up another really good pitcher from Oakland. So, that's going to be a good team. The Mets are going to be very, very good. They are going to contend for the title this year. Can they beat the Dodgers with that team? I don't know that the Dodgers have enough pitching. I really don't know that the Dodgers have enough pitching. They signed Kershaw for one more year, but, what's Kershaw going to do for him? He's been an average pitcher for, 4 or 5 years in a row now? So we'll look at baseball. We'll watch the Yankees, be up there. We'll watch the Dodgers be up there. I don't think Boston's going to be as good as they were last year. Teams are going to be ready for them. I don't know what team's going to be ready to make the move. Are the Mets ready to move up? Are the Phillies ready to move up? Are the Cincinnati Reds ready to move up? Seattle did pretty good last year. Are they going to be better? The Angels, man, the biggest disappointment in baseball. The Angels. Again, being from Southern California, I'm an Angel fan. I'm a Dodger fan. But the Angels, Mike Trout didn't even play last year. What is Mike Trout going to do? You talk about big contracts. He got paid every single week. The guy didn't play baseball the whole year. Rendon, World Series champion. Rendon from Washington. What's he going to do? He's been hurt 2 years with the Angels. So supposed to be such a leader and a superstar. So you got two guys there. We got two guys there. Trout and Rendon that can make a difference on that team with Ohtani. Those are three great players. What a lineup. The Angels continue to falter and continue to be very, very, very weak and under 500. But we got a long season to play. We'll be starting in a couple weeks. first part of April, baseball will be starting. They're going to play a couple more doubleheaders this year to make up the 162. We got baseball. They settled. Minimum salary went up by, what was it? I don't remember. We went to 180 or something like that. I don't even remember. We've got universal DH now, so everybody's DHing. That will help the Dodgers because they got too many guys in the lineup, and having one of them DH is going to be good because they don't have enough spots on the field for all these guys. It's always fun talking. Let's talk sports. And again, it's been a few weeks. I haven't done it because there wasn't a lot to talk about with me putting, for right now, NFL on Let's Talk and MLB and NCAA. Those are all great things. A lot to talk about the next few weeks. We'll talk more Let's Talk sports next week. We'll catch you up on the NCAA tournament and what's happening in the teams that I talked about. I think they'll all still be in there. Major League Baseball exhibition game starts for all of you people that go to Florida and Arizona and take the weekend and watch baseball. That's always fun. It's always nice and warm and nice to watch spring training baseball. And, of course, the NFL, watch out. Lots of trades going on. But the big news, of course, in sports period was Brady coming back. And watch out. That must put Tampa Bay right at the front of the list of who's going to win the Super Bowl. A lot of teams will have something to say about that, but we'll talk more next week. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching Let's Talk Sports with Rick Manarino. Please continue to like. Please continue to share. You can catch us. You can catch me at YouTube, WWDBTV, Roku TV, all of those places. Check us out. Enjoy us. Please continue to share. I'm looking for a new co-host. I know you get tired of just staring at my mug, but the information remains good and still remains to be good. I'm proud of that. Hopefully I've helped you out in your tournament picks. Get in there right now and, make your bets. We've only played a couple games today, so it's going to be fun. March Madness, we'll have a lot more to talk about next week. Thanks for tuning in. God bless. Enjoy the weekend. Enjoy March Madness. Keep your eye on NFL free agency and continued trades in Major League Baseball. Have a great weekend and God bless. See you soon.